New coach, new hope, same old
Same
results.
bear.
You can't make this up. I just gotta laugh, to be honest. Yeah,
Uh,
deep down, am I frustrated? Yes, I'm frustrated. But honestly, I'm too old to rant about the Bears and their bad performances. What was just the overview of the game? The defense was great till eventually they got worn out and they got
One
gassed.
down. Yep.
The offense outside the first drive, which was more than likely scripted plays, looked good. And then after that, nothing else. And that's your game.
I'll put it to you like this. I mean, to me, this was a tale of two coaches. One in his first NFL game as a head coach, and another one who has been by far the most efficient play caller uh, in the NFL. Um, Ben Johnson, in his first game, he made some coaching mistakes in my eyes. Most notably, uh, the poor clock management at the end of the second quarter. Um, the for me still the wide receiver screens.
Yeah.
Um,
They still don't work. They still don't
they,
work
they,
with Ben
they,
Johnson this time.
they, they still don't work. Granted, you still have, um, you got a different head coach, a different system, but you still got the same players running these wide receiver screens, and they never really ran them well anyway. For me, Caleb Williams, outside of that first drive, or better yet, maybe that first quarter and a half,
Yeah.
was horrible.
Yeah.
He was missing throws
Yeah.
for the majority of the game.
Yeah.
He was rattled, and Minnesota rarely blitzed him.
Yeah. They
If
just
at,
sat back in zone.
yeah, at best they might have sent five. And I mean, they couldn't run the ball. They didn't win the line of scrimmage. Even with this revamped offensive line, you know, they they had some good moments in the running game, but
That one drive, the one time
yeah,
they actually ran the ball effectively was the one drive which essentially cost us the game.
yeah. So, but for me, there was two significant things that happened which cost us this game. Actually, maybe three. One, the mismanagement right before the half.
Yeah.
For me, you got more than 2 minutes to play. You got a timeout, and you ran the ball three times, and you just didn't use any of those timeouts. And you include the 2 minute warning as a timeout as well too, and you didn't utilize that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just basically gave Minnesota the half.
Yep.
And then, two, the next play after that, McCarthy makes a really good throw. And then they get in field goal range for Will Riker, roll tide, to hit a 59-yard field goal.
Yep.
Momentum shift right there.
Yep. Yep.
Right there. Dennis Allen did the best he could to keep the momentum with the Bears with his defense, but they got gassed
They got
because
gas at the end.
Mason and Aaron Jones, two really good running backs, big running backs,
Yep.
they just started running off tackle up the middle, and they just started wearing down Dexter and the new guy we just got, Grady Jarrett.
Grady
They
Jarrett.
just wore him down in the middle.
Yep.
No. Odingbo was really good in pass coverage, but he had two big penalties.
One of
Um,
them I thought was
that roughing the passer was actually both of them. The roughing the passer
passer
and that illegal hands to the
the
face. To me,
face.
that was garbage.
The referees tonight, man. Now, apparently, when I looked, I guess the Bears were the underdog, so the Vikings were favored. And I don't know. I'm not. Look, I'm not gonna say we lost this game because of the refs,
No,
but I
no, no.
gotta
Neither am
know.
I.
I have to point. The refs were absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
They
on
were
both
absolutely
sides.
terrible.
On both sides. I
I
will
thought they
say
were.
on both sides.
I thought
I
they were
just
worse on the Bears than the.
Well, I mean, they were bad all the way around, I thought. But at the same time, though, with all that being said, the Bears were worse than the officials.
Yeah,
I mean, they were worse than the officials.
yeah,
Caleb was just horrible.
yeah. He was just
I
all
mean,
over
he
the
was
place.
he was he was all over the place.
And again, I don't, I'm just gonna chalk up those passes that were like middle of the field, but like the ball's over here,
Yeah.
players right here. I don't know if like said players like, hey, I'm sitting here, and everything.
And
I
his timing was off. There was the one play with Komet, and you can tell that there was space right there in the middle of the field.
mm-hmm.
But he didn't. He should have. In order to make sure that the timing is correct, he has to wait until Komet gets to get to his assignment and then time the separation. But he
Mm-hmm.
didn't. The separation happened first, and then he throws the ball, and he was just man. Caleb was horrible.
Yeah, and then even when
Caleb was horrible from the first play. He had a doomsday, and they showed it right
yep,
there
they
on Monday
showed it.
Night Football. They showed a doomsday had um
The
he had a
post,
touchdown.
post, post.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Post right across the middle. Safety dipped down to cover the middle of the floor field, and a doomsday had the. I mean, he had the one-on-one matchup,
Yep.
and Williams missed those type of passes for the majority of the night.
Yeah.
He missed them. He
Then
was
there was also
either
a corner route. Later
yeah,
in the one game or later in the game where I think after Minnesota scored to take the lead the first go around, I think he did end up going back to that corner route, but then Roma Dunze didn't catch the football on that.
didn't catch the football, and then on top of that, he also missed a touchdown to DJ Moore wide open late in the
Yep.
game.
Yep.
I
Which could
mean,
have gave us more time to
Williams,
maybe work with
yeah,
the 2-minute warning and stuff like
Williams was
that.
horrible. Williams was horrible. I
Yeah.
mean, he was horrible. There's no other way I can put it.
Yeah.
You know, for me, this game, this entire game rests on the shoulders of Ben Johnson
Yeah.
and Casey Williams. I mean, that 2 minute, that 2 minute that we wasted
Yeah.
in the second quarter, and getting a field goal out of that was the momentum shift that sent Minnesota in a different direction to end the half. And that's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to give them any kind of momentum. As bad as Minnesota played in the first half, they were only down 4 points.
Yeah.
As bad as they played, and as great as the defense was, 4 points.
4 points. And
And
realistically, the offense only scored 10 points and the defense got a pick six. Props
yeah,
to Deshaun Wright. He didn't play really good up until he got the pick six, and after that, he kind of settled in.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, like obviously after getting on my mom's birthday dinner, I literally sent the message, or I was walking my car. I'm like, wait, we should be going. We should continue moving the ball. Like, why are we being
yeah,
conservative at the end of the half? If you at least go put the ball in the end zone, you're up 14-3 at that point. So even if they do go down the field and get a field goal, well, you're still feeling good. But you get the field goal. I'm like, all right, fine. I don't like that decision. And immediately next play, JJ McCarthy to was it Naylor? I think it was Naylor.
it might have been Naylor. Yes.
Naylor. And I don't know if Dennis Allen was playing a man defense. It was one-on-one with Deshaun Wright, so I'm guessing that was a man defense right
Yeah,
there.
he played man the majority of the night. I
Um,
mean, especially in the second half.
yeah,
Um, but again, for just Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, they were. I mean, they were not good.
yeah,
They
um,
were they weren't good at all. And for me, you can't blame the defense. You
yeah.
can't blame Dennis Allen. You can't blame um, the injuries that we had on defense, because even
They did
without
enough. They did enough.
the defense did enough to win this game. They got gas because again, the offense was highly inefficient. The offensive line was bad. They had a crap load of pre-snap penalties. They
Yes.
uh, they wide receivers were getting open, but Caleb Williams kept missing throws. They had a crap load of three and outs.
Mm-hmm.
The offense overall was just piss poor, which put the defense in a bad position to have the defense win the game.
Yep.
And they just got gassed because Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones was just practically running them over.
Yeah. Because early in the
Especially
game, earlier
especially
up
Jordan,
up and
especially Jordan Mason.
yeah, up until realistically after we missed the field goal kick, we stopped the run game. We
Yeah,
were doing what we wanted to do initially, and that's make
yeah,
JJ McCarthy be a passer, and everything was getting to him. And
yeah,
then the moment they started establishing the run after that missed field goal, because that gave him momentum, um, that's essentially what sealed the deal. And the moment they scored that touchdown to Justin Jefferson, I'm like, that's game.
yeah.
It's
You
game.
texted me. That was it.
And then
That
when I
was
saw
it.
the offense go 3-and-out, I'm like, yeah, that's game. It's GG's. And then when they
Yeah,
scored again, I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, it's over.
yeah. I mean,
So
Noah Sewell played wonderful, but at the same time, he got beat. He
he
got
got
beat on
beat
base. He got beat basically on a wheel route.
on a wheel route.
Aaron
That's what
Jones,
got them the
and then
lead.
and then the throw was short. That just shows how bad he was beat. The throw was short, and even Brisker, who was the safety, he was late.
Yeah,
But at the same time, at that point, the defense was gassed. There
yeah.
was there was there was there was really nothing that Allen could really put together to ensure that the defense was going to win this game because the offense clearly wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, and then, performances like this, and I think it's a BS article with that recently came out from Tyler Dunn and then the Seth Wickersham book. The only way to get these negative things about Caleb Williams and stuff out the way, you got to win, and that's what Ben Johnson said. But I think on the Saturday, a few days before the game in his press conference, saying like, win the game. That's the goal, to win the game. And
Yeah,
look, we didn't win. I would hope when I go back after I'm done watching the press conference, hopefully Ben Johnson comes on and says, "Look, I take fault for this. I could have done a better job. I think us as an offense could have done a better job." But other than that, we played bad. It needs to be corrected this week because we got to play the Detroit Lions team that is coming off a butt kicking, and they're probably now, when it looked like, oh crap, we actually have a chance against Detroit. Now Detroit fans and probably Dan Campbell and the staff and all the other players in the team are looking like they look like the same old Bears, even though they got Ben Johnson over there. Same old Bears. Oh, we actually we'll show them. We'll get our win back. And now it's looking like, okay, yada, yada, yada. Now, I knew the offense would have its moments to struggle because you're still learning a new offense. That's to be expected. But the fact that we only scored one touchdown on the opening drive, and I'm not even going to count that garbage time touchdown, whatever. You realistically, we only had 10 points, and that was it.
yeah,
After that, we did absolutely nothing. Um, Ben Johnson, um, look, he deserves some blame. I felt like he didn't adjust enough to the Brian Flores defense in terms of creating more, I guess, sit routes, since Brian Flores looked like he was electing to play more zone coverage than man tonight. Because when they played man, Caleb Williams would just go and scramble and do just beat them with the feet. So that was the thing. And heck, even sometimes in zone. Um, that's the case. So I expect Foley next week. That's going to be on film. And I expect the Lions to have a spy on Caleb Williams to make sure he's not picking up 5, 6 yards and making a second down and short.
yeah.
My next issue with Ben Johnson in this game is I understand the Vikings are a very stout defense when it comes to stopping the run. Now, this was a whole thing in Bears Twitter throughout the offseason. Maybe we should get another running back, which it's more Ryan Poles thing. But when I hear Ben Johnson talk about I trust Kyle Monangai in the press conference, why are we only giving the ball to mostly, DeAndre Swift to run the ball?
Yeah, we didn't see Monangai at all
We
in the
didn't see
second half, or at
Monangai
least,
even get
or
a
at least
freaking
I
carry.
didn't.
I
I mean,
know.
I saw Monangai with a
Only
nice
a
run in the
pass.
first half, and he got a pass. He got
That
a
was it.
run too, but that was it. There was no balance out of the running backs. Granted, I did notice that Roshan was injured,
Yep.
so maybe just maybe because of the injuries to the running backs, he wanted to spare Monangai maybe a little bit you know, but I'm just like, dude, you got to be able to be well balanced
Yeah.
with your offense. And you know what I always say, three ways to win in football: run the ball, stop the run, quarterback don't make any mistakes. And other than that one mistake that McCarthy made, which was that pick six,
Yep.
he really played a great football game. And, we didn't run the ball. We didn't stop the run. And Williams made mistakes all over the place.
Yeah.
He didn't throw any picks, but I'm shocked he didn't
Yeah.
with the way he was throwing the ball all over the place.
Well,
I mean,
he
we didn't run the ball well. In the second half, we didn't stop the run. And again, Caleb Williams was horrible. And for the most part, that's what lost us the game.
yeah.
It
And
was just one of those situations. Yes, we missed a field goal.
yep.
Yes, Ben Johnson did mismanage a lot of areas on the offense. But for the most part, Caleb Williams, he just was he was horrible. I mean, he was just flat out horrible. And obviously it's got to get better.
Yeah.
And yes, if I was Ben Johnson, I would put that loss on my shoulders and get ready for Detroit.
Yeah. This is the only thing you can do. Just
Nothing
do
else.
that and put the focus on Detroit.
Nothing. Because I gotta admit, with two starters from the secondary, I thought the secondary played
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
We
Better than
didn't we
I
didn't
thought.
have yeah, we didn't have to blitz much, although the pick six did come on a blitz. Um, but for the most part, we were getting to him with four down linemen.
Yeah.
Mostly a Dangbo. That dude was all over
Yeah.
the
Hey, people were like, hey,
man.
he needs to eat because we're paying him a lot of money. And he did his job. He was getting to the quarterback.
I'd say he earned his money tonight. I mean, he earned his money tonight. Those two penalties were this is a YouTube channel of yours. It was BS.
Yeah.
It is. And it's like 5 o'clock in the morning here. And I'm trying my best not to yell, but them two penalties was BS. Montez Sweat was okay on
Okay.
his
Could
side.
have
He
been
was
better.
okay on his side of the field. He's got to be better. Um, the interior linemen were really good until they got gas. Grady
Gosh.
J
Yep.
and Dexter were
And
they just got
Billings. Yep.
and Billings. It was good to see Billings back on the field. But when they were fresh, oh dude,
Yeah.
man,
They were hitting
they
home.
were they were all in that backfield. Um, but with a scrambling quarterback, and McCarthy did get away a couple of times. I think they'll work on that.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the offense needs to help that defense out a little bit more moving forward, which means he's got to run the ball more.
Yeah.
And he did that in Detroit.
Yeah.
Why he didn't really do a lot of that now is
I don't know.
it's interesting to me.
And then again, you're stuck with using Swift as your main running guy. DJ
Yeah,
Moore had a few carries, but I'm just looking at Swift and I'm like, dude, Swift is not a power back. Now then, R1, he's the type of guy that likes to do all that dancing and try to find a hole instead of just hitting the
correct,
hole. Now on that one
correct.
drive that ended up becoming basically the turning point of the game legitimately, when they gave the ball to him, he hit the hole and he was being physical. And I'm like, dude, that's what you just need to do, and you're fine. Like the one, it was like a second and short. He ended up just taking it to Van Ginkel, and he pushed like three Viking players to get the first down. I'm like,
Yeah,
this is the type of DeAndre Swift we need, and
yeah.
everything. I don't need that dancing around trying to juke and jive and everything. But
Well, there's times that you can jive and dance, but
yes,
then again, there are times in which you just need to put your head down,
and
and and give some punishment. You're gonna take some, but it is that time in which you need to just put your head down and push forward.
yeah.
And that's where the dichotomy comes in with DeAndre Swift as far as what type of runner he is
Yep.
or what type of runner he has been and what type of runner we need him to be as fans.
Yeah.
So, but I'm shocked Monungai, who's a big back,
He
didn't
barely got any
get
carries.
didn't get any of those carries.
There's like nothing. Like DJ Moore even got more carries than Munga. I don't know if
Yeah,
that. I don't know if that's supposed to mean that Roshan has a bigger, I guess, role in the offense too. But
yeah,
like that. If I was in the media room, I would legitimately be asking the question. I'm like, hey, looking at the runs, you mostly ran the ball mostly with DeAndre Swift. The other day you mentioned how you trust Kyle Monungai. Is that more in the passing game or is that more in the running game? Because, he rarely got any carries and everything, and he's been
right.
working his tail off. You would think for a 7th round draft pick who made the roster, like, hey, this is the reason why we're going to give him some carries, because he's got that tough, type of mindset. He was good at Rutgers, so, like, let's give him some carries. Otherwise, it's like, is it because Roshan Johnson has more of a role with DeAndre Swift? I don't know. I also
And I
thought,
don't know either.
yeah,
And one big strategy in football is use the running game to keep the offense on the other side keep them on the sidelines.
yeah,
And again, that really worked. But they used the passing game as a form of the running game
hmm
to a tune of what
the drop off.
19 minutes time of possession in the first half. But in the second half, it was just Minnesota just ran traditional football. They didn't let the pick six rattle them. And they did see that, hey, yeah, you threw a pick six, but don't worry about it. That quarterback on the other side of the field, what I'm assuming Kevin O'Connell
Hmm.
is telling JJ McCarthy, don't worry about it. Caleb Williams is playing horrible. Our defense is playing really well. We'll get it back.
Yeah,
And it turns out, if that's what he told him, he was right.
yeah. Um, I thought the tight ends, Loveland and Komet, would be more focused on. It
Yeah.
felt like they were kind of semi-neglected, and they were kind of just supposed to be there just for whatever runs we had. So I hope next week we utilize the tight ends more. I think we could have used the tight ends more in this game.
Yeah, Loveland got a catch. Komet got a couple of few targets with
He
a
got one
catch.
catch.
He made a nice catch late in the fourth. But yeah, I mean, and you are right. Adunze got some targets. Moore got some targets. Zacchaeus,
Zacchaeus got some targets.
Zacchaeus was really nice. So I mean, the receiving core, and well, I shouldn't say the pass catchers. I'll say, um, moving forward, they look really good. I think it's still all is contingent upon Williams
Yeah.
making the correct
Re-
pre-snap reads.
Reads.
Because if he's not making, and he didn't make really good pre-snap reads, he didn't make really good throws. Caleb Williams was just from quarters two through from the second quarter on, he was flat out horrible.
Yeah. And then I thought the offensive line, was fine. Surprisingly enough, Braxton Jones, I heard nothing about him, so he didn't really do much of anything. Honestly, if I was looking at it, Jonah Jackson was probably the one lineman that didn't play the best. He was getting beat consistently. I think Dahlman got beat up the middle one time.
Well,
Joe Toon,
the right side,
yeah, the right side,
Darnell Wright. You got to include Darnell Wright
yeah,
up in there as well too. He had. I mean, he got beat a couple of times, but the right side was just. I
it
mean,
wasn't good enough.
no, it wasn't good, and I mean Jackson was just. Ugh. But be that as it may, the offensive line they were
They gave
they were
protection. They gave adequate time for Caleb to make a good throw.
They did. And again, it was Caleb Williams making bad throws. He did get the ball out a little quicker than what we've been used to, but there were some plays he held on the ball too long. He got the happy feet.
Yep.
And he didn't really stay up in the pocket and make the reads and make those tough throws. He got flustered, in my opinion,
Yeah.
and you know
No, it was basically flip the opposite. JJ McCarthy was the one looking all around and flustered and shook. And next thing
Yep.
you know, boom, momentum changes.
But see,
He was the one.
that's where Kevin O'Connell comes in.
Yep.
He went over to JJ and be like, dude, chill. Don't worry about it. Defense is playing great. Their quarterback is playing way worse than you are. We'll get it back.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Trust me, I got you. We're going to run the football. I said, and I put it to you in text, I said they should go five wide to get him a little bit more comfortable. You said, no, they're not going to do that with a rookie quarterback. You were absolutely right. They started running the football to get him comfortable, running the football, wearing that defense down. And then once they did that, once they wore that defense down, he could sit in that pocket quietly, comfortably, and oversee what the Bears are trying to do defensively.
Yeah. Um, look, that's the thing. I also thought again that drive, the holding penalty, that was probably one of the worst holding calls I've seen. That wasn't even a holding call. Regardless, not gonna.
You talking about the one on Darnell Wright?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a holding call. That was
Um.
BS. That illegal contact on Stevenson, that was
Mhm.
some BS too. The
Yeah.
the the guy fell and it was incidental contact with him getting up
Yep.
and Stevenson running in that same direction. And now I will admit, Stevenson seemed to be a much different football player mentally than what he was last year. And I enjoyed watching him play today. I really did. I just aside from all the crap that he did last year, I really enjoyed watching him this football game under Dennis Allen. I'll say that.
Yeah. That and then when you then Caleb after that had an intentional grounding. At that point, he should have just threw it away to the nearest receiver instead of like he fell down tripped. At that point, he should have just ate the sack right there and just lived it. And then obviously he did find a way to get, back in field goal range. And then Cairo Santos misses a freaking chip shot field goal that he makes.
Well, I wouldn't call a 50-yard field goal a chip shot, but
In today's NFL, kickers can make that like that easy.
okay. All
That's
right.
that's chip shot.
Tomato, tomato. I don't think a 50-yard is a chip shot, you know.
But
But
it again,
but it's still a missed field goal
yeah,
nonetheless.
and that's what when I saw that I'm like, yeah, that's not
Yeah.
good. That's giving Minnesota complete momentum now.
Yeah.
And again, it goes to the whole thing of this question again with Cairo Santos. He can be an accurate kicker, but we know he doesn't have that strong of a leg.
Yeah, I'd say anything within 45, Cairo can make just about any kick. But when we start talking about 50, 55, and Will Riker made a 59,
And
you know,
and at this point,
and he made that thing
right down the middle.
right down the middle. And I'll say it again, got to give it up. Roll Tide. That's it was. That's the only thing I can say after Riker make. I was like, Lord have mercy, Roll Tide.
Eh,
I think that good, but when you got that dichotomy, you got the two coaches, you got the two the line of scrimmage, which Minnesota clearly won, especially in the second half.
yeah.
But that momentum shift from the second quarter into the third quarter,
Hmm.
for me, that was the difference in the game. The mismanagement of the 2-minute drill prior to the end of the first half, the field goal, all of that
Yep.
it took Minnesota into the locker room at the half with a different mindset. And at that moment, I was just like, you know what? It's gonna be a long night for the Bears.
Yep.
Because when you got a Brian Flores defense with that kind of a momentum shift coming into the third quarter, oh dude, man, it's lights out.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. My last thing about the Cairo stuff. Again, it gets to the point where I understand where other Bear fans, they're frustrated because it's like we see these other kickers that can make like almost dang near 70-yard kicks now, and we
Yep.
got a kicker where we actually need to get in a certain range for this guy to make a potential kick. And
Yep.
it's like, and it's getting to the point where it's like, polls. Maybe we might need to upgrade the kicker position and go get somebody else. As reliable as Cairo is, he still has his limitations. Like you look at example, like look at the end of the game. Okay, if you want to try to freaking try to make whatever comeback you can make, albeit I didn't think it was possible. I think there's another coaching issue from Ben Johnson. Why you're not telling Cairo, bro? We got the 2 minute warning, like with 1 minute, right? Kick the thing out of bounds. We'll take the penalty, whatever. Our
Yeah.
defense will at least have a guaranteed 2 times if we get the three and out. At least we maybe have 50, if not 40 seconds to work with to give our offense a chance to maybe go either tie the game or take the lead, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't tell his kicker that, or you just don't say, you know what, let's just do onside. If something happens, something happens. Because remember, the last time we played the Vikings at Soldier Field, we did onside kick, and miraculously, we somehow got it by the luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was another thing that it's like, okay, Ben Johnson, you didn't think clearly enough in that situation where you should have told your kicker like, hey, we're going onside kick, or maybe that's the thing, with Hightower. Maybe he should have done a better job and said, hey, coach, it's your call at the end of the day, but I think it's best we go onside here, or we tell Cairo kick it out of bounds.
Or even
That
better yet, kick it towards one of the pylons. You don't kick it right there. If you're going to kick it where it's in play, kick it towards one of the pylons, the back pylon if necessary. Don't kick it down the middle of the field, because
yeah,
if you kick it down the middle of the field and he kicks it in the end zone, it's clear he's coming out.
yeah, because he's gonna try to burn the clock.
Correct.
And then it's also too, we already know Cairo doesn't have a strong enough leg. Riker kicked it out out of the end zone.
Yeah.
So it's like, and again, it goes to this whole dichotomy.
Or even better yet, why couldn't you let Taylor kick it? That's a strong leg.
I don't,
Let him kick it.
I don't know. I don't know.
You know, it's just these little things right here that I think moving forward, that, and again, it's an altogether new coaching staff.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna sit up here and get on the.
I'm not gonna get too much. Look, Ben Johnson, especially in the second half, got out coach. Am I
Yeah.
gonna be screaming like crazy like I was with Eberflus? No.
No.
It's gonna. Here's my thing. I'm gonna give Caleb to week 10, Ben Johnson to week 10, and then at that point, if things are still not looking right, that's when the floodgates are going on. That's when I'm gonna start ranting, like, okay, guys, what's going on here? And then it's gonna get to the point where like, okay, Ben, are we gonna have to do what the Bryce Young thing? Are we gonna have to sit down Caleb for a few weeks, put Bajan in, and be like, okay, dude, if you're not getting in on the field, go watch on the sideline. We'll have Bajan come in, see if he operates the offense. Because look, they gave him a 2 year extension, and I'm not already doing the Bajan thing week 1. Because personally, I think Caleb deep down, if he hits the potential, he can be good. He can be
Yeah.
a really good quarterback for us for the future. But if it
Yeah.
gets to the point where Caleb's becoming an issue, then you may have to think about doing the whole thing if Ben Johnson's patience is running thin and saying, okay, dude, we're trying to win games. Look, right now, you're not giving us a good chance to win. I'm going to go with the backup. You watch on the sideline. Let's go see what Bajent got going on. Which would
Well,
then,
I
yeah,
would probably say that let's just pump the brakes a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
Just one game, brand
I
new
agree.
coach,
I agree.
brand new coaching staff. Um, Ben Johnson is in his first game. It's
Yep,
totally different being an offensive coordinator
yep.
and you just running the offense, and then having a shift to the entire game plan being scripted
Mm-hmm.
by you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a long season. We got 16 more of these to go,
Mm-hmm.
and there's still a lot of football to be played. And let's just see how it comes out. But for this game, at
Yeah.
least we do have some type of film so that they can go in tomorrow and look and just simply say, "Hey, this is where we need to get better."
Yep.
I think Ben Johnson will be that kind of a coach.
Yep.
Dennis Allen will get his guys back healthy soon.
Yep.
Will it
I
be in
definitely
time?
do think we need Jalen and Kyler next week because if we don't, then oof. See, against
Well,
JJ McCarthy, you can get away with that.
for
Jared Goff,
for
you
me
can't.
for me it's T.J. Edwards. Me is TJ Edwards, because TJ Edwards our signal caller on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, once TJ Edwards come back, I think things will probably maybe be a little bit different. I think if we would have had our main signal call up and then going against a rookie quarterback, we might have had a couple of different things happen. So we get all of that back, and I think the Bears will be fine. We just need to make sure that we are learning from our mistakes from week to week, and not, let's just say, hey, we learned from our mistake week one, and here it is, it's week nine, and you're just now learning from your mistake in week one, 8 weeks later. So that's not the kind of thing that I'm hoping for. I'm just hoping next week they take this, pile it in with the rest, and then approach Detroit um, differently than how they approach Minnesota.
Yeah, that's the thing. Look, I know so some people are gonna have a field day. Again, I
Of
don't mean to
course.
bring up the last guy. Yes, we saw what Justin Fields did on Sunday. Props to him, but you already know people are gonna go out there. I'm not gonna defend Caleb. He played a bad game today, and he needs to be
Well,
better going forward.
well,
But
keep in mind, Justin Fields has been in the league, what, 4 years now?
hmm
5 years?
yep,
Come on. I mean, that's a piss poor comparison to a guy who's in his second year as a
second year.
quarterback.
Now we hope
That's
he now and to end off this thing, we hope he takes incremental growths. I do think there were some moments of growth here, but it still needs to be better. It still
yeah.
needs to be better. But anyways, props to the defense. They did what they needed to do. At least there was some positive. The defense was good. But
Yeah.
things need to be cleaned up because you're going to be playing a hungry Detroit Lions team that is probably going to be looking for a win, and you're going to be playing in a tough environment. And especially a team that's going to be looking to try to show up their former offensive coordinator who left them to go to the rival team. So we'll see how they go next week on Sunday. So there's that. But if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Chicago Bears content and things like that. Disappointing out effort by the Bears today, which it's a game that we should have won. We should have definitely won by 2 scores, but it is what it is. Same old Chicago Bears, but hopefully next week it's better. Even if we go down losing, you just hope it's better, especially from the offensive side of the ball. But we're gonna get out of here. Catch you guys next video, and we will see you later. And we'll see you probably for NFL week predictions for week 2 sometime in the week. Till then, guys, peace.
Peace.